Anyone here to speak citizen time? Alex, come on up, introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Alex, and I live in Pine Glen. I'm here tonight to speak about the Burlington ICE facility. As this board knows, this is an office building behind the mall at 1000 District Avenue that has been used to detain people for extended periods without appropriate facilities, including beds or showers. And there was a recent report of people being held for 2 days without being given any meals. There have been ongoing protests regarding this facility for months now, and I'm active at several of them. One of the frequent questions I get as a resident is, what is the town doing? And what I'm here to do tonight is to thank the select board, because I have a lot of answers for that. I tell people about Mr. Priest coming and speaking at Bearing Witness, and about Phyllis Neufeld bringing Article 13 to condemn the use of the ICE facility to town meeting, and Mr. Espejo speaking for it, as well as coordinating actions with other elected officials and the select board working on taking action in court. It really matters that you're doing all of this. It matters to me as a resident, and it matters to other people, and they're paying attention. All of this really helps Burlington's image and reputation. The town is not standing idly by. We have multiple town bodies actively working on solutions and speaking up. Your willingness to engage and to speak publicly and to pursue every avenue available to you sends a message. So I want to end tonight by urging you to keep going. Please continue to work with our state and elected and federal officials, continue to seek transparency and accountability, and continue to use every tool our municipal government has to push for lawful, humane treatment for everyone. Residents are paying attention, and we deeply appreciate what you've done so far, and we're counting on you to keep leading. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Anyone else in the room here to speak for public comment? Anyone online? Looks like we're clear. We'll move on to an appointment. Police. Hi, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before you tonight for a full-time appointment to the police department as a position of a police officer. It's my pleasure to request the reappointment, actually, of Jaleesa Smith as a full-time officer with the police department effective January 4th of 2026. As you can see from her resume, Jaleesa had worked prior to for the Burlington Police Department from February of 2018 through this past July, where she tried other ventures. They didn't work out. When she left here, she left in basically good standing, very good standing. She's a very well thought of police officer, and she reached out and tested the water to see if she could transfer back. At this point in time, based on the retention issues that we're having across the Commonwealth, it's not just Burlington, it made perfect sense to bring back an experienced officer who knows the town, who knows the people. She can literally hit the ground on day one when she comes back. She's been a fantastic member of the department, and I would expect that to continue. As the board likely is aware, we find ourselves in a very precarious situation right now with recruitment and retention, and by bringing Jaleesa back, this will go a little bit of the way to stem the tide here as we look to recruit further in the first and second week of January. So with that, I would respectfully request the appointment of Jaleesa Smith to the position of full-time police officer with the Burlington Police Department.
Any comment or questions? I had a question before we moved on. Talking about those retention issues, Chief, how is it affecting you and your staff, and how are we doing with kind of staying fully staffed for all the shifts and coverage?
Well, right now we are doing our best to keep up with it. Right now we're down 10. Now 4 of the officers, we have 4 in the academy. As you know, it takes a good 9 to 10 months before an academy-trained officer is out and able to take a solo patrol assignment. In addition to the 4 that are in the academy, we have 4 openings that still have not been filled. We're in process of trying to do that. And right now, I have an officer out on an extended family leave, and then another one who's out on medical, which should be about 3 to 4 months. So basically, with that being down 10, that's basically a whole platoon of shifts that we're trying to backfill through overtime and other ways. So we're managing, but to say that, it isn't a tough situation at times, I wouldn't be truthful by saying that. So we're doing our best to fill those openings.
I'm sure overtime, too, is probably affected.
Yes.
And one last question while we have you. We see that you're fully moved into the Turnpike, Middlesex Turnpike. How's everything going? Smooth? Look like everything went smoothly?
We're fully moved in. The moving company, Sterling out of Chelmsford, did unbelievable work. They had us over there in a day and a half. Everybody has, basically all the systems are up and running. We have town facilities over there handling the small things that have come up here and there. But I think that if you polled every officer and employee over there, they would tell you they are the expectations are way higher than what they expected when we heard we were going into a rehabbed water treatment plant. The place is fantastic. They did a great job, and, we've made it home.
That's great to hear, and kudos to you and your team for a literally seamless transition. You wouldn't know anything was different.
Thank you.
All right.
Should we just leave them
Joe asked if we should just leave you guys there and save some money over there and make a park or something, right?
I can promise that's not the first time he's heard that.
I was expecting as much, actually.
So, can I-
Yeah.
with the lack of current personnel, and now with the station, I know we have to do prisoner watch in it, so now we're taking another officer on overtime or on the shift, so that's actually another person we're down, so to speak, because that person has to go and watch that prisoner in Lexington if we take someone into custody, because when Lexington was doing their station, we took their detainees, Lexington's returning the favor, but that's another addition to the, or I should say subtraction from the roster, is we have to have someone overseeing a detainee out in Lexington. That also impacts the budget, the overtime personnel, and wear and tear on the officers. So just want to make that comment.
Thank you, Jim. Any other comments before we move on to the appointment? Mr. Denizio?
Thank you. On the recommendation of Chief Brown, I'm happy to reappoint Jaleesa Smith as a patrol officer for Burlington Police Department effective January 4th.
So moved?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Chair's also an aye. That's 5-0. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Next appointment's DPW. O'Brien?
Good evening. So I have two appointment recommendations for you tonight. Both are sewer pump station operators. The first is Mr. Kyle Vasconcelos. After conducting interviews with applicants for a pump station operator position, I'd like to recommend Kyle for this job. Kyle brings valuable experience from his time with the City of Haverhill Water Department, where he assisted with water main repairs, hydrant replacements, meter work, chlorination, etc., giving him a strong foundation in water system operations. He also has quite a bit of experience operating heavy equipment and trucks. He currently holds a CDLA driver's license and is in the process of acquiring his 2A and 1B hoisting. I believe Kyle's experience and skills make him an excellent addition to our division, and would like to recommend his start date be December 16th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the recommendation of DPW Director Brian White, I will appoint Kyle Vasconcelos to the position of pump operator, pump station operator for the Burlington DPW effective December 16th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. 5-0.
Do both and have them come up after?
Sure.
Okay, so the second position, same position, sewer pump station operator. I would like to recommend Mr. Christopher Donovan for this job. Mr. Donovan brings strong technical background from his prior employment as a plumbing apprentice and propane technician. where he gained hands-on experience with mechanical systems, piping, boilers, routine maintenance, all applicable to pump station maintenance. Chris previously owned his own small business and obtained a bachelor's degree in business, showing high motivation and an eagerness to learn, and is committed to gaining the necessary licenses for the position. I believe his experience and skills make him a great addition to our division, and would like to recommend a start date of December 22nd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the recommendation of DPW Director Brian White, I will recommend Christopher Donovan to the position of pump station operator with the Burlington DPW effective December 22nd.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Chair's also an aye. That's 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, who's who?
No name tags.
No name tags.
Chris, then Kyle.
How you doing? Congratulations, bud.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Congrats, welcome aboard. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board.
Thanks, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Okay, next, moving on, we have approval for the town meeting index of articles. Mr. Denizio?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So in front of you, you should all have, and shared in the shared file, is a copy of the draft warrant article index for January town meeting. I want to compliment Lynn and Kim on the quick turnaround with that. As you all know, they weren't due until Friday at the end of the day, and we did, in fact, receive some on Friday at the end of the day. So as you can see, there's 13 articles for January's town meeting, and as part of this agenda item, we do have three people here to present on three of those articles, but our first action is to approve the index so we can move forward and get it printed and get town meeting set up for January.
Any questions or discussion before we approve the index?
Just for me real quick.
Yeah.
I apologize, because I meant to ask earlier, I didn't. Number 8, repurpose previously approved funds. What is that?
So that's going to be, that's financial article where there was funds that were appropriated for the town common walkways that were, then we were able to get an earmark
Donate.
from Representative Gordon and Senator Friedman in the state's budget. So we're looking to repurpose those funds, about $250,000, to the Overlook Park project as contingency.
Gotcha.
But we'll have Brendan come in a January meeting and present on that article.
Great, thank you.
So again, tonight, we're just approving the index.
Okay, we'll take a motion if there's no other questions.
Sorry, I have a question.
Sure.
The article, general bylaw Article 13, all it says is amend Article 1.
Yep.
In number 12, it's a little bit more detailed, amend general bylaw Article 13, public safety prohibition of blah, blah, blah. I just feel like there should be more detail.
Yeah, there will, so we had reached out to the person that submitted the article, but they want to vote on it with their group first to change the name. But before we go to print, we'll have a more detailed name
Okay.
of what it says. It's basically the repeat articles. If you looked at, in the backup, there was a memo from.
Yes, I know what it is about.
Yeah, yeah,
but just
so-
but looking
Yeah,
at
so
it.
they weren't meeting before today in
Okay.
order to discuss that. So I told them we would leave it like that on the index to get it approved. We can still,
So we won't have to
we
vote
can
again.
still
We
do
can
the
vote
name.
tonight and then change it.
Correct.
Okay, perfect.
Like a placeholder. Okay, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the index of articles as presented.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Chair's also an aye. It's 5-0.
Mr. Chairman, we have folks here to present on Articles 2, 12, and 13. I think Lieutenant Leary was here first, so maybe we could ask him to come up and present on Article 12.
Sure. Lieutenant Leary?
Yeah, Chief Brown, sorry.
That's okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We're here to specifically amend General Bylaw Article 13 in relation to public safety and adding a prohibition of cryptocurrency ATMs. So basically, the purpose and intent encapsulates what we're after. The police department over the past 3 to 4 years has seen an uptick in scams, basically that revolve around these cryptocurrency ATMs. And Lieutenant Leary here, as the commanding officer of the Detective Division, can give you some of the true-to-life stories that have gone on. And when you hear some of the victimization that's happened, and most likely it happens with our elderly, it would turn your heads. I mean, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars because of these cryptocurrency machines. So what we are trying to do is to remove the ATMs from the town of Burlington because they are unregulated. They pose a risk to consumers, including financial fraud, and they just beg for scammers to basically prey on our elderly and other people who just fall prey to this. And unfortunately, with the ATMs, the cryptocurrency, as soon as that money, it's virtual, as soon as it's converted, it's gone. And there is no way for us to reasonably get it back. We've even tried with different times of search warrants, and even been shut down, in a sense, by the Middlesex DA's office. So we're here before you to get out in front of this before it becomes even more of a major problem. But again, over the past 4 years, we've seen a serious uptick, enough so that Lieutenant Leary had come to me and decided to advance this general bylaw. So he's here to answer any questions and can tell you some of the real-life situations we've had if anybody has specific questions on it. But that's the purpose and intent of the bylaw.
You have any questions from the board on it? Jim?
Jens, I could see this was going to be a problem. This was my area of expertise, cybercrime, but I saw this coming down the road, but here's my question. I fully support this. Get these things out of town. My question is, how they get in town? There's no regulations, they just, I know Shaw's has one. How many, do you know, any idea how many we have?
So the nature of the machines, the number varies, but as of travel time over here, it was 7 according to a Google search, and it probably could be more because they don't advertise a lot, but any sort of mom and pop gas station, White Hen, Town Grocery, I'm aging myself, obviously, but they all have them in there, and you don't even know it. They're so innocuous until a resident, your neighbor, your grandmother goes in and gives $100,000 away, and it's gone just like that. And the cash is in the machine, but we've tried to seize it through the DA's office. We had some success early on, but then the ATM companies sued and pushed back, and we've had to give that money back.
It's just, this is just a cyber nightmare for the people getting scammed, so I'm definitely going to support this.
Yeah, I didn't even know we had cryptocurrency ATMs in town. So what happens, Lieutenant Leary? So a person gets scammed through an email and says, deposit the money in this ATM, and that's how you pay for whatever they think they're getting?
Yeah, so the scam, I guarantee you've all declined the scam calls or the text messages. Your Apple Pay account was used in Monterey, California. Click on this link, and then you call, and I've done this because I enjoy seeing what the scams are. You call and they say, oh, your IP address was used in Mexico and Texas and California. Did you use these? Did you make these purchases? No, I did not. Okay, well, here's what we have to do. We have to, unfreeze your account, but it costs X amount of dollars. And then they have you put earbuds in your ears, and they send you to the bank so that way they can listen to what's going on to ensure that you don't notify law enforcement. They'll have you go to 2, 3, 4 different banks to take out 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. That way it doesn't hit any sort of suspicious activity report. And then they'll direct you to the Burlington Bitcoin Depot to deposit 20,000, and then the Lexington Bitcoin Depot to deposit another 20,000. So it's fairly elaborate. And we've also seen, we've done some steps on our end to kind of fix this, but I posed as someone that was getting scammed and actually got a phone call from BPD on my phone, basically saying, hi, this is Officer Smith from Burlington Police Department. I wanted to let you know this scam is legitimate. So they can spoof department phone numbers to further kind of legitimize, if you will, the scam, and it's very convincing.
Wow. Sarah?
So thank you for bringing this forward and taking the initiative to take this on. It must be very difficult to just keep ahead of all these scams and the advances in technology. It's really a shame that we have to do this, but I guess my question is, when, going back to thinking about how many kiosks there are in Burlington, if this does go through, this basically prohibition on these machines, how is that enforced? How, do you send a note to everybody in town? I mean, how does that, do you go in and seize them, or how is it enforced?
So in the bylaw, the answer is it would be incumbent on us. We would have to go, myself and my detectives would have to go to each prospective place or places that we know and say, hey, according to this bylaw that was just passed, there's a 60-day notice. If you fail to comply with this, it's $300 per day, a fine to the store owner for failure to remove that. And the store owners, they're not complicit in this. It's passive income for them. They get anywhere from $200 to $300 a month from the major companies just to have this thing in the corner of their store. But 1 day is equal to 1 month of their passive income. So my assumption is we'll get pretty quick compliance.
And is there any way that you would be notified if one was put in?
The answer to that is no, as of right now. As I understand it, it's a legislative nightmare, to be perfectly frank, because there are no regulations federally. And the state, we've been hearing the state is trying to regulate these machines, but as we all know, that the process for that is not very swift. So it would just be, much like we do with alcohol compliance and things, just something we would have to do periodically to just double check to make sure that all stores were complying.
Okay. And that was actually, one of my questions was going to be, is there any action at the state level? Because I do see these sort of piecemeal town by town trying to address this. It would be nice if we had some sort of state
We've been
regulation.
begging for it,
Yeah.
because we've been so, you see anyone, doesn't matter their age, but they're in front of you in tears, their entire life savings is gone, and you're just like, so, it's horrible for us, so we're trying to be proactive in that way.
Okay,
And
great.
again, if I can just add to it, we started to see this 4 to 5 years ago, and you've still seen no action, and now you're seeing the individual municipalities come forward because we've been left with no alternative but to enact it locally.
And do you foresee any pushback from local business or small businesses who do benefit from this?
I don't. I think that, the ones that we've dealt with see that there is a problem, but again, it's passive income. And what we will do is we will take this on ourselves, and we'll have a detective assigned to handling any of the fines and the notice, and we'll push it out on social media and do our best to stay ahead of it. But I don't think you're going to see a lot of pushback on it, because I think most people understand why we're doing this.
Okay, great. Thank you for coming in and for putting this together. I'm fully in support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, probably being the oldest guy in the room, I'm lost.
As was I until about 3 years ago, yes.
I don't use ATM machines. I don't know how they work. I don't know the first thing about them. So, from what I'm listening to and hearing about is the fact that, so, just say the White Hen and the gas station, they both have ATM machines in there. And this is what we're concerned with, correct?
The Bitcoin
I don't know
agent.
what Bitcoin is. I've
So
never paid
it-
attention to it because I don't have any of that stuff. I don't even have Apple Pay. I
That's a
don't have Venmo. I don't have any of that. So there might be someone else out there listening that might be just like me.
Certainly, yeah, and I had to explain it to other people in my life as well. Essentially, Bitcoin, and again, I apologize for everyone out there that's much more versed in it than me, but it's fake currency. It's electronic currency, and it fluctuates in value, extreme highs and extreme lows, and it's very volatile. But you can make money off it if you're aggressive with it. A Bitcoin at this point, it might be $35,000 for one Bitcoin, right? So you put the cash into the machine, it drops in like a traditional bank, and then it's automatically transferred into fake money that gets sent to a electronic wallet, okay? And then at that point, the scammers will take that huge sum in this wallet and break it up into hundreds or thousands of individual smaller denominations to make it that much more difficult for us to track and try to get back.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? Is it specifically cash they're putting into these machines?
Yes.
It has to be cash. So these scammers are sending people to the bank to deposit large sums of cash.
Correct.
And then feeding them directly into the machines, and then it's gone.
It's gone, even though it's right there, it's in the machine, and that's why early on, we seized the machines and seized the cash as, evidence of a crime, but the courts have been No, they've now basically ordered us not to seize those funds anymore. Because their theory is what I will call the victim, but the person willingly clicked on all the prompts that no one reads on the machine, right? You know, this is a legitimate purpose, this is this. I'm not going to read those. My mother's not going to read those. She's going to go right through because she wants to get the money in the machine so her grandson can get bailed or the FTC won't, you know, crush her credit or something, right? I happened to be at a gas station off duty a few months ago. I saw a woman just walk by her, kind of standing at a machine. Made my purchase, came back. She was still in that exact same spot. I poked my head out of the door, walked back in, and I said, "Are you okay?" And she was, you could see, like just shaking. Her bag was open, there was cash in the bag. "How much money have you given so far?" And she was so paranoid that she didn't even believe. I introduced myself, I showed my ID, I said, "This is a scam, don't give any money." She was crying. And I had to call a marked cruiser to come down for a police officer in uniform to verify that I wasn't part of the scam. And it was really only that I was able to kind of, you know, let me guess what happened. You got a text message, you clicked on it, it was a website, you did this, and then it was just, she realized, like, she had given $15,000 at a separate ATM, but still had the $10,000 in her bag. So that was a less of a loss, I guess.
So what we're looking to do is to take every ATM machine out of town.
Every Bitcoin ATM. So the only, correct.
Laugh at me, okay, over there.
Oh, no,
Laugh at me.
it's confusing, and that's part of, it's by design, right? Coins, you mentioned the one at Shaw's, those are a little bit more tricky. The machines where you can dump all your quarters and it gives you cash,
This was a,
just a standalone.
yes.
Okay, some of them are combined, they're legitimate machines coupled with
All right, maybe the one at Shaw's is a
you know,
combined one, but I
yeah.
knew it did say Bitcoin.
But we can work with those individual vendors to
Okay, no, I'm in total favor of it. I'm just so confused about it because I don't, listen, I reach in my pocket and I give you money. That's not what I do. I don't use credit cards. I
If
don't,
you get a call like this, call us.
Yeah, please, please.
Don't respond.
Trust anybody.
no, I don't give anybody anything. Don't worry about it. No one gets nothing. But no, I actually find it pretty interesting.
Nick's got something I got to follow.
Someone's got some smarts.
Nick?
Thank you. So just to clarify, the machines themselves aren't the malicious thing. They're being used for malicious intent.
Correct.
Okay. I fully support this. I'd love to look into if we can enact a policy that, you know, people who are trying to put them into their stores have to notify us or notify somebody so we can get in front of this and help at least on the front end to, you know, curb the installation of these units until the state does something. And then maybe we can, I don't know, get Gordon or, you know, Friedman on the phone and be like, "We need your help here," you know, because this is obviously a bigger than Burlington problem. But, you know, between this and AI, you know, and the use of, you know, voice modulation and, you know, face distortion to, you know, confuse people. I mean, some of the stuff I've seen is just awful. I mean, I'd fall for it, you know? It's real easy. It's not like, you know, "Oh, they got me on a phishing email," right? Like this is becoming more and more sophisticated technology is becoming accessible to people, and they're taking advantage of people who aren't aware of that. And it's a huge problem that's only going to exponentially become a bigger problem. So the more we can stay on top of it, the better. So thank you guys for your vigilance in this.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Jim, follow up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're doing business licenses tonight, and Lynn might have to ask you a couple of questions. When someone goes to renew their business license, these victualler's license and whatnot, do they have to read certain things when they electronically reapply? What I'm trying to get at is there something we can put on a renewal application that, what if this bylaw passes, says Burlington has enacted this bylaw that Bitcoin machines, standalone Bitcoin machines are not allowed per bylaw, or something like that is, you know, like a
Yeah,
flat.
I can add to
So
it.
maybe that's one way of notifying the businesses beforehand. When they go to reapply for their license annually, they'll know, oh, I can't have a Bitcoin machine because it's a bylaw violation. So I know it's gonna take a while.
Well, I mean, we can add it to Open Gov. Problem is, no one actually reads anything.
Right, but,
I mean,
but at
we
least
have
we're,
it there, but.
it's one way of a preemptive strike, I guess you could say, potentially. So I don't know how well it'll work. Like you said, if they don't read it, it's not gonna matter. But at least we're making that effort to let them know, hey, you're renewing your license, but by the way, standalone Bitcoin machines are now outlawed in Burlington, so.
Bitcoin period, even combo.
It's like, the analogy is like putting money into a paper shredder, is basically what you're doing.
Yeah, this is scary stuff. Thank you guys for your vigilance and all for this. Glad we're getting ahead of it and being proactive here. It's really scary what they could do these days with technology. All right,
I'm good.
with that, we'll take a motion. Or do we need a motion? Yes, please. We'll take a motion.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, we support the Article 12, General Bylaw, Article 12.
Yeah, a vehement second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Chair's also an aye. It's 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Just don't ask me for Venmo, I don't have that either. I'll take a picture of 20 and send it to you.
Call us, Joe.
I like my
Chairman,
own.
next we have Article 13. We have Susan Cadillac, who's a member of the General Bylaw Review Committee, is here with us virtually. Susan, we're sending you a link to unmute and,
I think it unmuted. I'm trying to do the video. Let me see.
so just for the board, in the backup drive, this one was called Warrant Article Backup GBRC. This is the write-up, and then the actual warrant article's in there too. The warrant article itself is called Repetitive Bylaw. We can see you in
We can
one
see you,
square,
Susan.
and I'm not sure if we can still hear you.
No, she's unmuted on her other one.
Oh, there's two.
She's having feedback.
Swap.
She's gonna have to shut that one.
You said you're not gonna mute.
I just sent her an unmute on that one. You're not unmuted yet.
Should we move on to the next one while we see if Susan can?
Sure.
So we also have here, Betsy Hughes is here from the Zoning Bylaw Review Committee, who submitted Article 2 in your backup. We're going to do Betsy last because she has another one after this, but we'll take that.
Thanks, Sarah.
Hi, Betsy.
Hi, good evening. You're going to be really sick of me tonight, I have to say. See a bunch of me. So I'm here as the chair of the Zoning Bylaw Review Committee, and we have an article which has been submitted to you, which is really a very simple article. As you probably know, our mission at ZBRC is to ensure that the town bylaws are current, concise, and clear. And it's really in that context that we have submitted this article, which is about setbacks, where we're actually going to define what a setback is. There is no definition currently in the zoning bylaws for the word setback. Many times the word yard is used in lieu of the, when setback is meant. And as I'm sure you know, people don't necessarily think of yard and setback as being the same thing. So it has caused confusion for the building department and in terms of zoning and planning. So we decided to take that on. We added the definition, and then because we did that, we had to add the word setback into Article 5, which is the dimensional requirements table there, so that we added the word setback after both minimum front, side, and rear yard, and then it now says setback. And then going through the rest of the zoning bylaws, we needed to add the word setback and then modify the language around it so it made some sense. And those were in 4 different articles, as you can see here, Article 5, 6, 10, and 11. So that's pretty much it. It's just a housekeeping thing, adding the word setback and making sure that all the rest of the zoning bylaws conform to include that as appropriate. Any questions?
Questions,
Just a
comments?
quick comment.
Sure.
That's your, applaud your committee, you and your committee for going through these zoning bylaws and cleaning up all these issues. It's a tedious, time-consuming effort, I assume, but thank you for the effort of doing this, because, like, the word setback not being in there, but people use the word setback, it fine-tunes everything. So thank you for all your efforts.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
I can go.
Sure.
Thank you. I agree, Betsy, with what Jim's saying. Forgive me, because my brain is like running at half speed today. When we talk about, for this, when we talk about setbacks, it was called just the yard?
If you looked at the use table that's
Yeah.
in there currently, it just says the word yard. So it defines, it
So minimum front yard, minimum.
front
side.
yard, side yard, yeah. So, but, for the people who are in the know, they know that that actually refers to a setback. But if you didn't, and you're just, the layperson looking at these rules, trying to figure out what the rules are going to be if you want to do something on your property, it was very confusing.
Right, okay. I mean, I'm all for clarity. I'm sure I'll have more questions later. I know how to get a hold of you.
Okay, you know how to get me.
I appreciate all the work, though, as always.
Sarah, Joe?
Sorry, I'm having a little trouble viewing the document of the actual bylaw. It's my machine. Something's going on. But in terms of the definition of setback,
Yeah.
where did you get that definition? Is that,
We generally go to the Planner's Dictionary for definitions, and then we also check it against comparator towns to see if, because we want to make them simple, but at the same time, we want to make sure that they're comprehensive.
okay, great. I think that's my only question.
Okay.
I completely understand the need to make things more clear, and especially with these zoning bylaws, be a bear to go through those and try to understand everything. So I appreciate all the work you guys have done on this.
Quick.
Yeah.
So, real quick, I'll just ask 2 questions. The ZBA and the planning board, have they gone over this?
Yes, the planning board, we presented to the planning board at their last meeting, and they unanimously approved it.
Okay.
And the ZBA does not review or approve zoning bylaw recommendations because, according to council, it's kind of a conflict because they enforce it, they can't actually create it. So, but we do have a member of the ZBA on the ZBRC. He abstained from the vote because he had not been to 50% of the meetings to discuss it, so he didn't feel it was appropriate to vote on it, but.
Well, the reason I asked was I see the 2 of them on the screen right there, so I figured I'd ask while
Yeah.
they were here. If Jess had a comment about it, it'd be great to hear that. Jeff, where he didn't vote on it, I'm assuming that he's got some comments, but he probably wouldn't say anything. So if the chairman would
Yeah.
approve that.
Yeah.
Jessica, if you have anything to add to this for us, just so we're all clear on everything? Or not? Okay.
Hi, I couldn't understand. Were you calling on me?
No, I wasn't. I was just saying.
Oh, I just got the request to unmute.
Yeah, no, I just said that you were on the screen. I asked if you had any comments from the ZBA on this, and I was told that it doesn't really go in front of you for this. It goes to the planning board. So, and I was asking Jessica if she had any comments on it. So thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, here I am. Yeah, I was muted again. I was at the planning board meeting for that. I missed the meeting before the vote, so I wasn't there for 50%, so I just said I wanted to abstain on it. We had discussed this before the last town meeting, and I only brought up the concern of, I'm fine with the definition being added, the clarity of that is definitely helpful for someone who might not know the term, but just changing the use table, there was a little bit of issue there because the term yard is used in the building code, in mass general laws, in everything relating to that. The yard is the specific requirement for it. Setback is more of a measurement. You don't call a landscaper to clean the leaves in your setback. That was my only concern with it. It's not huge, but that's my take on it.
And then, as you can, just as a response to that, you can see that we did not eliminate the word yard. We kept the word yard so that there would be even less confusion about what we were talking about. So that addressed that concern. And Jess must have something, Jess with an S, must have something with her, but the
Jess.
planning board did approve it.
I was just going to say I didn't have any comment in particular from the planning board side. I actually joined to be able to kind of talk about anything with the government review committee. But as relates to this topic, nothing to add.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
All right.
Did Susan start this whole thing?
No, difficult.
Or something different, right?
All right, with that, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the changes to number 2, right? Zoning bylaw article number 2, which means, which is titled amend zoning articles to add definition for setback.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Chair's also an aye. 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Want to go try and go back to Susan?
Okay, I'm here now. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Technical difficulties.
Got you now.
So this is for the article to limit the repeat articles on town meeting. So it's really just, something that a town meeting member had mentioned to me and just in conversations with, other people just to help improve the efficiency of the town meeting. And something like this already exists in zoning where things that are voted unfavorably can't come back for 2 years. So this is a little bit more flexible and a little bit less time where anything that's voted unfavorably can come back within a year if there are substantial changes, because we've seen articles like since January 2023, we've had four times that articles on town meeting accessibility have come forward. Just with the GBRC, we've had a lot of conversation about a recall petition, which wasn't passed. And then just these last 2 town meetings, we saw this essentially the same stormwater article come in front of town meeting and did not pass twice. So it's just to put a little bit of a cooling off period, a little bit more eyes, and just, to encourage a little bit more thought if something comes before town meeting and it doesn't pass, just to encourage a little bit more time and thought before coming back with it to figure out, do we need more feedback? Does this need to be changed? Or is just something, that maybe shouldn't come back?
Okay. You have questions from the board?
I have a question.
Sarah?
Thanks, Susan, for being here tonight to present this. I did have a question just around some of the language within the bylaw. I understand that it's basically nothing can come, if it's been voted down, they can't come back until at least a year. And then the wording is, unless such proposed general bylaw contains substantive and/or material changes. So who decides what's a substantive or material change, and how do we?
So that would be the reason why we have that, that it would be recommended to be resubmitted by a majority vote of both the GBRC and the select board. So again, just to have more eyes on it for the boards to say, yes, we agree that this has been substantially changed, or no, we really feel like this is the same article, and maybe it shouldn't come back.
Okay.
Any other questions, or
I don't have a question, but I can talk.
you can always talk for a minute, but feel free.
No, Susan, thank you. This is one of those things where I've been thinking a lot about it, and I still don't know where I stand. You know, if something comes before the body and people have not done their due diligence, and it's something that needs to be voted on, otherwise a time clock could put us in a more precarious situation, then that 1 year could really set us back in a really weird way, right? Assuming that no real substantive changes could come out of whatever's gonna come forward. And I know these are all hypotheticals, and I'm just, you know, talking out, you know, a backside, but I think that it's good because it could force people into being more diligent up front, into covering all their bases, having the discussions, making sure they're reaching out to people, making sure people are doing their work, you know, before it comes to town meeting, all that stuff. I just don't know if it puts us in a weird position, and if we have a way out of it, should that happen. So this is my conundrum, right? No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think, I mean, and maybe we can add a little bit more language around this, but I think that may fall under material changes where, you know, if we're up against a deadline, that's something material that won't, you know, if they wait a year, that, you know, that would materially change the effectiveness of the article. So, I mean, we have a meeting tomorrow night. We can talk about looking at putting some more language around that, because I do agree that, you know, there will be probably some circumstances where the boards may say, you know, maybe this falls under something that's material that, you know, that maybe it should go in front again. And I'll make a note that we should take a look at that.
I appreciate that, thank you. That's something that's kind of, I think, lingering in my mind. Otherwise, I think it's a good idea, and I hope that it spurs the right kind of activity to get people engaged in the process, even if they can't commit to whatever subcommittee or, you know, action team is working on something. You know, they make the time to tune in or ask questions in advance of town meeting, so when we do gather, we're having, you know, the most productive conversation possible. But yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for putting this together. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Susan, quick question. If an article is withdrawn, this won't affect it, right?
Correct. Yep.
Any other questions? And I'll remind the board, we don't have to take a vote tonight if you want to think about this one. I know we don't, it's kind of fresh. We can table it. We have time. So it's up to you guys and gal.
We can take a vote. I'll probably abstain for now. I don't want to give them a no vote. I think that's unfair.
We don't have to vote. We can just table it for now.
You vote in January, you could.
We can vote at our next meeting.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, if we're okay with that.
Because they've got a meeting tomorrow. If you want to still
Yeah.
want to get the final language and the final tweaks, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Want to do that? Yeah. All right, Susan, yeah, we're going to wait on it and just get the final product, and then we have time in January to vote on it. But thank you for bringing this forward and doing the work on it, and we appreciate you coming tonight to explain it to us.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Susan.
Thanks, Susan.
Okay, moving on. We did the 3 articles. Do we have any others to be presented or no?
That's the end of that agenda item.
No, we do have the,
Yeah, it's the next one, the 5.
More Betsy. We're not sick of Betsy yet.
no, she has an article, and then she has an update.
Oh.
So,
A double, so I don't know how you want, I'll do the article first.
You have another article?
I do.
the Government Review Committee survey expenses article.
She's rocking and rolling tonight, Jim.
So can I, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
It's not on the agenda.
Is this 5? Are we on 5?
No, this would still be under 4B.
Review of warrant.
Still on 4B.
Okay.
Oh, okay, from general.
Just click the right arrow.
This would be Article 7.
Article 7 on your list, Government Review Committee. So, okay.
You know, we don't have the article or the backup or anything like that, so we'll have Bets's presentation, but if you need more time, you can again vote on it with the rest of the financial articles in January.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello again.
My name is Betsy Hughes, and I represent the Burlington Government Review Committee, and I am the chair of that committee. As you may recall, late last summer, you commissioned a group to review the Burlington's government structure. And as a reminder, before we get into this, the mission you gave us is here, but you wanted us to assure an appropriate, effective, and accountable organizational structure for residents and constituents of our town. More specifically, you identified 6 deliverables that you wanted from us. You wanted us to make sure it's an inclusive process where we got feedback from and opinions from throughout the town. You wanted us to produce a charter, consider shifting the leadership model, consider provisions such as referendums, recalls, et cetera, and take a look at what's in the charter versus what might be in bylaw, and then generate a charter and a report at the end of all of this. And so tonight, I'm here to request money to support our efforts in accomplishing the first, number 1. So the article is to approve survey expenses of $20,000 for a community survey on resident engagement, including postal costs and other expenses that we would need to incur. The purpose of the community survey is pretty straightforward. It's kind of a who surrounded by 2 hows. We want to make sure that we get resident input on how decisions are made, who should be making them, and how authority should be distributed in the town. In the process, we will reach out to the Burlington residents, and it's very important to the credibility of this process, as we've learned, that having a third party independent from the community to actually do the survey. At the end of the process, we will be looking to learn what the views are and the roles of town meeting, town administrator, and boards and committees, to understand the perception of effectiveness and accessibility and accountability of town government, and expectations that folks have for the review process and getting public input. This is how it will work, just briefly, and I know there's a lot on this slide, but we're going to create a survey that'll be available both online and then offline, which is the new way of saying paper for people who don't like to go online. And there will be multiple ways of doing both of those things. As we have learned through the process, the general survey guidelines, if you're going to do a survey, is you need to keep the number of questions small and like 10 to 12, so you keep people's attention, they actually will do it. We need to include demographic information there. Mostly there'll be, questions will be like multiple choice or forced ranking, but they'll be closed-ended questions. There will be some open-ended questions. Those are a little bit more difficult to analyze, but there will be some in this process. We need to have a target for how many people we want to participate. In general, it's somewhere between, like 3 to 5% of the population. So we're thinking probably around 500 to 800 people, maybe, that we're looking for. And we want to make sure that we offer it in languages that are appropriate for our community. And at the moment, we need to check for the schools. But at the moment, it looks like that might be Spanish and Chinese, but we're going to confirm with them because they have good experience with communicating with residents through their Parent Square technology. Using a third party is important to this process, as I mentioned before, and they're going to help with 6 critical steps in this survey. The design, the development, the administration, the analysis, the reporting, and at the end, the presentation. And the presentation would be in a format that not only for the committee, but one that we can turn around and use in conversations with you, with town meeting, and then the residents as well. One of the things we just want to make note is the cost for outreach for public, and whether it's postcards or whatever, is going to be managed by the BGRC, as well as now that we have a communications officer, we have been collaborating with her, meeting with her, so keeping her up to speed on all of this, so she will also be involved, again, so we can have the same look, feel, et cetera, for anything comes out from the town. From a timing perspective, we'd like to get approval from you. We'd like to get approval at town meeting, which takes us to the end of January, and then finalize the consultant selection during February, kick it off in March with the drafting of the survey. Then we'll launch the survey itself in May and give people a little bit of time to do it, but not too much. And then close the survey in early June, and then have the findings ready in July. We've received 2 RFP responses to date, one from the Center of Public Opinion at UMass Lowell, and the other from the Collins Center, their data collection and survey team. The next steps in this process are, hopefully you would approve this request, and then we go to town meeting. We will establish a BGRC survey subcommittee. We'll select a vendor and kick off the project in March. Questions?
Open it up to the board for any questions?
Sure, thanks. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thanks, Betsy, for coming in. I apologize, I didn't get any backup on this before this, so that I'm seeing this fresh and new.
That's fine.
So it might take me some time to process. But in terms of the $20,000, where did that number come from?
The estimates we've gotten so far from the consultants are everywhere from like 12,000 to 17, 18,000 for that. And we know that we're going to have to do postage and other things. The town's going to have to pay for that. So, we're saying, well, if we go the high side, then that, 20,000 would cover everything. It's a not to exceed number. And so that if we don't use it, it'll go back to the town.
Okay.
That the committee doesn't use it for that.
Okay. I have a lot of questions about that number. I know 20K and the scope of things and how we run as a town is not a lot, but that number seems high to me, and it seems like a town meeting would have a lot of questions on that. And exactly, what kind of postage are we talking? How much would that be? So how do you allocate that $20,000? I am fully in support of the Government Review Committee's mission and what you all are doing, and I'm really impressed by the work that you all have done. I just think that more information is needed around that number and what it is going to be.
Well, we have quotes, specific quotes about that number. So if, if we want to stick to, I think we were trying to figure out, the one thing we didn't know was postage costs to send, if we're going to do postcards, and we don't know what the strategy is going to be around getting the people who are not online, because we do have a number of people we're going to want to hear from who don't use computers. So we know on the high side of the survey, it's going to be 17,000.
Right, I know postage is insanely expensive when you're trying to reach so many people
Right.
in town.
So it may be, I don't think it will go to 20,000.
No,
But-
that's the thing. Are we sending it to every household? Or how are we targeting those people?
We're actually going to send it out to the whole town. It's like you take registered voters, and you send it out to all registered voters. So we're not going to try to say, let's do a demographic sample of the town. We're just going to send it to all registered voters. We can track if somebody does it online and then they get a paper survey. There are ways that the consultant can figure out through the demographic information they get whether it's a duplicate of somebody who's already, submitted one. So that part we're taking, is taken care of. But we do want to hear from, a broad range of residents of the people who have registered to vote.
Okay, and have you thought about what questions? I mean, I saw like the topics, but specifically what kind of questions?
We have not gone through the questions yet. That's, I think we don't want to put the cart in front of the horse. We got a lot to do on the committee. And so first thing is, we have, met with did the kind of the RFP, have met with a couple of consultants who do this stuff. It's a good range in terms of price, kind of a lower price and a higher price. And the scope of services they provide one is not not so great and we'd have to do more, and the other is, full boat, do everything, kind of thing. And we have gone through a negotiation process where we have best and final numbers from them, so we've already gone through that. And if we are going to do a survey, and if we're going to hit the timelines that you guys have established for us, we need it approved in January.
Okay. And then I apologize if this was already covered in the slides. It probably wasn't. I was kind of trying to
That's
take
okay.
it all in. What is the information you're trying to gather from the survey? And how will that inform the duties and the job of the committee, of the government review committee?
Yeah. So what we're looking to learn is, the views on the roles of town meeting, town administrator, boards, committees, and the structure of the government, whether it's, the perception is, on effectiveness and accessibility, accountability, which are things that we're supposed to be looking at in this project. And then also to understand the expectations of those the residents on the review process. So we make sure that, we want to make sure that we understand any objections so that we can address them as we go forward. If there are things that aren't working from their perspective, we can make sure that we're addressing them as we walk through the process that we're going in through right now. As I said, I don't have the specific questions yet to get at that, and the consultant, is...
Yeah, I guess my concern is that I think there is a large contingent in town who don't really know how we're structured, who don't really know what town meeting does, who have no idea what goes on in town hall.
That's correct.
Therefore, they will have trouble answering the questions and not even do it, essentially. So from that perspective, I wonder how much response there will be, other than our core group of government nerds that know it,
Yeah, I think part of it is how the questions are phrased, so that people who are not government nerds feel like they have a response. I mean, people, so, and I'm sensitive to it because I knew nothing about government until I got on town meeting, and I really knew nothing about government until last July. So I'm just learning about all this stuff now. But I think there are questions that we can ask that will hit home for people who don't understand what the structure is, but they may have a general perception about leadership of the town and that sort of thing.
Okay, and will the Collins Institute help craft, or is it? I guess it's more the consultant or whoever we hire would help craft those questions.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Could be.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate all the work this committee is doing. I've tried to watch all the meetings. It's a lot. It's a lot for you guys to go through. So I really do appreciate your leadership and for bringing this forward. And that's all. Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
One quick
Jimmy?
comment. This is our first time seeing this, so can you send us the PowerPoint?
Absolutely.
That's all.
Nick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Patrick already has it, by the way, so.
Yeah, I echo some of what Sarah was saying. While you guys were talking, I pulled it up just to get a gauge. So, according to the internet, and we know, I'm just kind of going off what Google's saying, is that 1 ounce, postcards are 78 cents a pop, right? So if we go with every household, I think we're at about 9,000-ish, give or take.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, for the sake of this conversation, the numbers, we'll say 9,000, that's roughly $7K just in postage, right? If we're gonna do postcards to every household, right? Patrick, you want to say something, go ahead.
Yeah, so before you get any further, what we would do is what's called every door direct mail. So it's priced differently, so it's pre-sorted. So that is a retail, like bust out retail price of that.
Perfect.
So how local government would normally send to an every door direct mail would be a fixed price with the post office through our nonprofit permit. So in those cases, it generally costs, let's say $2,000 to $3,000.
Okay.
So a
Very
significant
good.
discount from that. So Yeah, and I think that the price structure, having just set on the procurement part of this to help guide the committee through the procurement of the surveys, the prices came back about where we would expect a statistically viable survey to come back at.
Okay.
And then I think additional postage contingency is good too, because this is work the committee is going to be doing for the next, year.
Right.
So if there's additional, I know that the committee is also interested in sending out additional communications to let people know about the work and how to follow it so that they can be informed ahead of receiving the survey. So there's sort of like a pre-survey planning that they're working on with Laura, our communications officer, to get people aware of, hey, go visit the website, find out about what's going on through this process. So that's where some of the costs come into.
Okay.
But yeah.
Very good. And then, again, along the same lines as Sarah, I think crafting the questions is going to be crucial,
I agree with you.
right? And even if that means that we have to create a quick, this is like definitions or like something that can help the survey taker, right, have a baseline of information to work from.
Right.
Overload.
I think, as I've looked at other surveys from other towns, which we've done, we've taken a look at, we have some benchmarking we've been doing. They all have an introduction, so it's not like you get a piece of paper and say, okay, dear resident, please fill out the following boxes, right? There will be some positioning that will go into it. And Patrick alluded to some of the kind of the strategy that goes along with the communications of this. And again, we've just started having conversations with Laura about what that might look like. And that would be outside of the consultant's gig, although related. So we'd work collaboratively on that. But so there is going to be a plan to kind of how you roll this out. It's not, there's got to be some, whether it's on the Buzz, we get them that involved, or we get BCAT involved, and it's surveys coming your way. And for the people who don't do that, maybe we do a little session at the Council on Aging, all of that stuff. So those will be part of this. So it's not going to be a survey, just the price part is just for the survey and for getting the consultant. How we actually get this survey marketed is going to be a different effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I agree with the target benchmark for survey takers. That's probably what we had for the communications survey a few years ago. I just wish it was more. I wish in a town of, 17, 18,000 registered voters, we could get 5,000 people to take a survey, and yes, wishful thinking, wouldn't that be nice? It's just like if we want to get a better cross-section of the community, we need more than 800 people, but to my own dismay. Thank you for all of this. I'm in support of it. And yeah, I hope town meeting is as well.
Joe? No? Okay, I'm also in support of it. I think it'd be a good, any data, any information you can help guide you on your efforts is valuable. And I think that these survey creators know what they're doing. There's probably going to be a broad range of questions that are accessible for someone, both people who don't know anything about town government, like how do you feel town government should do for, what do you think town government should do for you, or what are their capacity, all the way to someone who's, a government nerd, as Sarah calls them. I think that there'll be a broad range of accessibility in those questions. They know what they're doing, so I'm confident. And I think it's a good thing, so I'm in support of it. I see Jess has her hand up. So Jess, you said you came for the government review part. We'll give you the floor.
Yes, Jess Sutherland, Vice Chair of the Burlington Government Review Committee. I just wanted to add some additional color, I think, especially to Sarah's concerns. Obviously, we do want to send this out to all residents because you don't want to bias the survey from the beginning. So it is really important that we make sure we get out to as many people as possible. Obviously, there may be some natural bias based on people who respond, but to Betsy's point, we do have a subcommittee within this committee where we are actively developing a communications plan to hopefully draw some awareness and some initial education of what the not only what the committee is seeking to do, but also to alert folks that, the survey is coming about, so please pay attention. And, we'll hopefully use some additional channels when the survey is available. I also wanted to just kind of make a comment on the cost. As someone who also in their day job does a lot of market research and analysis, this is actually an extremely fair price. A lot of surveys I have conducted for perhaps an N of 300 target responses could cost you anywhere between $40,000 to $80,000. And obviously a good chunk of the cost is the fact, to Mike's point, that we are hiring someone who has a lot of experience, who can make sure these questions are pointed in the way that we will get the results we want, make sure that we are doing so with some statistically significant results and analyses, as well as make sure everything is accessible for a wide variety of folks who speak a variety of languages or may not be able to kind of necessarily take it online. And so that is a big cost of the input, as well as the utilization of their platform, as well as their expertise. So it's definitely more than just, oh, hey, you're going to send out a survey for us. I think we all wish we could just do this cheaply through like SurveyMonkey, but it's just not feasible, and obviously probably would not be putting our best foot forward if it was something that we weren't engaging with professionally.
Yeah, just one more thing. Thanks, Jess, to add to what Jess said. Just as an example, one of the things that we volunteered to do as kind of a committee is the open-ended questions, because you have to data enter them, old-fashioned entry, that the committee's going to do that. So we're not going to use consultant time to do that. We're going to use committee time. So we're trying to be very frugal and mindful of spending taxpayer dollars on this.
No, I think it's a very important venture. You guys are doing important work to take a look at our government, and it's a lot of work, as we all know, and 20K sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, if you come up with a process that saves the town millions, this is a drop in the bucket. So for me, it's a no-brainer. High expectations.
Oh, my God, that's high expectations indeed.
I have high expectations.
Indeed. I'm going to go
All right,
buy
any
a
other
lottery
questions, or we can also table this if you want to wait for more, the backup and take a look?
And thank you, Jess, for adding that color. I definitely appreciate that this is a sort of on the low end of what something like this would cost, and appreciate you keeping our taxpayers in mind on that. I think before I support this concept, and I support the general idea that I think what I'd like to see before we vote on it are things like, you said you had quotes, like quotes, cost breakdown, and what you're using those dollars for, sample questions, even if you don't have them leave. Like, just, you looked at other towns. What have other towns asked?
Okay.
What were their outcomes, and what did they use them for? I'm coming at this completely naive.
That's fine.
As to what this survey is asking and what we're getting out of it. So just, I would, for my, own education, like to.
I think that's great. If you maybe could send me a list of every, kind of the list of things that you'd like to see, I'd be more than happy to put that together for you.
Thank you. I don't want to, you already have your plate full. I don't want to add too much, but just a general sense of those kind of things. And I will send you an email.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, we don't have to vote on this, so we can take out the PowerPoint and kind of mull on it a little bit, and we'll be better prepared in January to take a vote on it.
Okay.
Thank you, Betsy.
Do I stay or?
Yeah, she's here for the next agenda.
Oh, okay. Thank you for staying, Betsy.
Go up and come back in.
You can sit back down and read. All right, so we will table that one and move on to number 5, appointment update, Government Review Committee.
So just before we hand things back over to Betsy, this is agenda item is seeking to accomplish 2 things. One, appointment of 2 members to the 2 vacant positions of the committee, and also Ms. Hughes, Chair Hughes, will be providing an update to the Select Board. So I sent the board a memo this afternoon. There were 2 vacancies that actually occurred fairly early on into the process of the Government Review Committee. And so, the committee's work is quite robust, and they have sought to replace those 2 members, even though they still had alternate members take those full positions. So the committee did some outreach. I did hear from people who were interested, and we have two names for an appointment for your consideration this evening. And the request is not only to appoint those two members, but also to appoint them as full members rather than have alternate members. You know, the alternate members weren't voting members. They can participate in discussion, but I think as the committee has sort of worked out being established that they enjoy the conversation and the dialogue and then be able to also vote. So the request from the committee was to have them be full voting members. So the names before you this evening for consideration is Eileen Sickler and Matthew Denaro. Both candidates have met with the chair. They've been able to engage with members of the select board, staff. They've been following the committee's work pretty extensively. So on behalf of the Government Review Committee and through the select board, just request the appointment of those two members as full members to the Government Review Committee effective December 15th. They do have a meeting tomorrow, so the timing of this works out pretty well if they're approved.
Or any questions on the new members?
Just a comment.
Yeah.
I think this is a great example for this committee, because we have Eileen, who's been involved in town, very experienced in housing, longtime town meeting member. Eileen, thank you again for all you do for the town. And then the other appointment here, Matthew Denaro, is actually my neighbor, new to town meeting, kind of newer to the town, a few years now, younger. So we're getting different perspectives from different people that will see government differently and be able to offer opinions as an experienced town-involved person and somewhat of a novice town-involved person. So I think this is two great appointments for this committee, to see it from two different perspectives.
Thank you.
Good.
Can I make a comment?
You may.
Similar to what Jim was saying. So, yeah, we all know Eileen and her contributions to town. I did not know Matt. I knew the name only because he's a fairly newly elected town meeting member, but never, I think I met him in passing, but never really had a conversation with him, didn't know much about him. So I did have a phone call with him. So thank you, Patrick, for setting that up. I wasn't grilling him. It wasn't an interview. It was really just an introductory call to get to know him, understand his background, his interests, and make sure he understood the commitment to the committee. And it was a really good call. He seemed very invested in the town and in the process and interested in local government. So, like Jim said, as sort of a newer addition to town government, I think he'll really provide a nice new perspective and a breath of fresh air, hopefully, to that committee. And I think both Eileen and Matt will be great contributing members to this committee.
Thanks, Sarah. So it's good. Nick?
I simply wanted to add that I think that voting in favor of not just appointing Matt and Eileen, but making them full-time members shows our willingness to be flexible as we learn and engage in a process that we haven't before. And it's great that we can do that, right? I think that oftentimes we look at government as a very rigid thing, but sitting at this dais, we have the ability to adjust and to make adjustments as we go forward in the best interests as we see them as they're presented to us. So I fully support their appointments and making them full-time, and I think that it's going to be great going forward for the community.
Also, sorry, one more comment.
Sure.
I did, when this came up, I did not push back, but asked the question. We had these alternates in place in the event that members might drop off, because we knew this was going to be a long process. Two did, and the alternates, filled those roles. And I asked the question, do we really need two more, or do we really need two alternates or full-time? Like, what's the justification for that? And Patrick did talk to me about the workload that's happening on this committee. And
Yeah.
I think we all knew it was going to be big, but just the level of detail, the subcommittees, and the workload, I think it justifies having two new full-time voting members to the committee.
Yeah, to save us millions, it's going to take a lot of work. No, I'm very comfortable with both appointments. They'll be great additions to the committee, and appreciate them stepping up to join the team. So with that, I'll take a motion.
I make the motion that we appoint both Eileen Sickler and Matthew Gennaro as full-time members of the Government Review Committee.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Chair's also an aye. It's 5-0.
Okay.
They can join tomorrow, I guess.
Betsy, you're finally done.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
No?
No.
Not yet.
Oh,
This will be my last one, though, for the evening.
Last one's an update on Government Review Committee.
oh.
So we've been doing a bunch of talking about it, so now I figure I'd give you a little bit more specificity about what's been going on
Great.
since the end of July, actually probably early August. So we have a committee, and Patrick is not advancing here. This arrow, right? There we go. So the committee, we have, as you can see from here, and as you knew as you were putting the committee together, and this slide obviously is now out of date, I say with great pleasure, that we have various ages and experience in town government, very different. Some people who have never been involved with town government know absolutely nothing about it. But the one thing we all have in common is that we're all invested in Burlington and want to see the best thing for Burlington. Since late last summer, we've spent a lot of time getting up to speed by meeting twice a month, and subcommittees meeting even more than that. On that, to kind of get ourselves up to speed about what all this stuff is, what it means, how it works, et cetera. And it's our plan in terms of the process that we want to engage the stakeholders. These are the employees, volunteers, residents, in understanding what's working, what's not. We want to make sure we're benchmarking models of government in comparable communities, identifying the strengths and weaknesses in Burlington's current structure and process, and then, of course, we're going to recommend changes. We also want to make sure the public's involved, and we want to, Sarah, to your point, like the people don't know much about it. By getting people more involved and communicating more, maybe people will have more feelings about it, maybe they'll understand it better. And then, obviously, we're going to create a report which we're going to present to you in town meeting, and any changes that are going to be approved by you in town meeting would go to a vote for the town because of the charter. The approach we've taken with the guidance of our consulting partner at the Collins Center is, at UMass, is first to kind of study the efficacy and the effectiveness of what we have here. But in order to do that, you really need to understand the current structure and the bylaws and the special acts and the organizational structure that goes into that. And in the process, we need to assess this current state of things, so what's working and what's not. And we've done that through a series of stakeholder interviews. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. And then we talk about the community survey. But those are both tactics in terms of how we're going to assess the current state. And then we're going to analyze best practice, and that is through the comparable towns that we have identified. And then we're going to review each of the areas of government and develop a charter and bylaw changes and recommendations for change to both of those as we go through it. The topics of the areas that we're going to be covering are legislative branch, and we've already got through this one. And let me just talk for a moment about the process, because we're talking about specific areas. We dig in very deep, I think much deeper than the Collins Center actually thought we would. But given the personalities of the people on this group, I'm sure you're not surprised one little bit. And so we have really dug in and said, okay, looking at town meeting, we've looked at processes, we've looked at roles, we looked at things like There's a town meeting handbook that is way out of date, needed to be updated. There are committees that have responsibilities in the bylaws that are not responsible, that they're not doing, not through any fault of their own, it's just over time, and committees have morphed into doing different things. So we're looking, we looked at we looked at the timeframes for town, how often we have town meetings. We looked at town moderator, who elects the town moderator. We've looked at how long that what the terms are, and are coming up with recommendations on all of those things. So we've just finished up the legislative part. We will come back to that. So we're never like quite really done, because as we go through this, we're getting input from stakeholder interviews will be one, then the survey will be another. So we'll keep coming back to it and test and say, okay, did we learn anything new here that means we want to change anything in terms of our recommendations on the legislative branch? And we'll do that for each one as we go through. So the sections we'll go through are legislative. The executive branch, we're actually going to start that tomorrow with John Denizio is going to come and talk to us. We gave him a list of too many questions for him to possibly answer, but the committee came up with a number of questions about the role of town administrator that we need to understand. We're going to go through planning board, ways and means. We're going to talk about elections and, the whole resident participation issue, which we keep hearing as an issue. We need to kind of talk through that. Two special things are referendum and recall, which we will be going through some discussion on. I know there was some discussion on a prior bylaw review committee about the recall thing that didn't work out. And then looking at the administrative organization. As I mentioned, it took a lot to get up to speed and to get going in a really meaningful way. But the committee, I think, has made pretty good progress considering all that we've had to put through. So here's what we've done today. First is we need to, because you asked us to make sure this is an open process. So BCAT is attending and filming each one, and I think a number of people, Sarah, you mentioned you've been following it, I'm assuming through BCAT, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. And that's actually where Matt followed this, so he kept up to speed with what we were doing there. The Buzz has put a couple of articles in talking about what we're doing on this project. And of course, we post all minutes because we have to, but also because we want to. We developed two subcommittees. The first that Jess mentioned, and she's actually on, is the external communications. There's a website that's been developed that you can link through the Burlington website. There's a social media plan being finalized. Again, they're coordinating with Laura on that one. Stakeholder interviews, this was a really important thing to do on as close to the front end as we could. So we have a subcommittee that has, of 4, that have conducted 26 interviews representing 17 entities, and that is boards, committees, departments at different levels, et cetera, throughout the town. We have done all the interviews. We're put the results together. It's a very manual process. It's an exceptionally large Excel spreadsheet. And then we're doing the analysis, and then we will be putting the analysis together to present to the committee so that we can do it in the form so that people can make some decisions. And we're trying to get that done, hopefully, well, by January, so that the results will be there for the committee members to know. We also, as I mentioned before, commenced the review process. We've established benchmark towns, which we did based on towns that have representative town meeting, that have the same sort of special acts bylaws that we do, or a charter that are the same size as we are. And they're Dedham, Milford, Milton, Reading, Walpole, and Winchester. So we're using those as our benchmarks. And as I mentioned, we went through, town meeting, town moderator, and in a lot of detail. And throughout this process, we have been transparent, and we really want to make sure that we're engaging the public and the subcommittee to make sure that we're developing a communications strategy, which will last not only for what we're doing now, but positioning the survey, as we talked about before, and other things. We're also going to be participating in the Civic Forum in January, and we're going to look for some creative ways to maybe engage the people there and getting some input from them, kind of public input about the process or about that. We haven't kind of got our arms around that because we just got the invitation to participate like a week ago. But I think this is an opportunity where there will be people around. I think we're going to tap into Patrick because he has done some of that kind of sensing before to get a sense of some of the things we could do and how we can harness folks in that forum. And then, as we mentioned, the community survey, should it be approved. As to timing, we're a little bit behind the original schedule. As I mentioned, that is probably due to the fact that we are digging deeper than I think that the consultant thought that we would, that they anticipated. I know this is hard to see, but basically it's kind of like it's mapping out the time of the project and showing that each different section of topics have a time frame of when we're going to be talking about them. There are external things that we're going to be doing in terms of reaching out for public input, and then the progress check-ins. And this is what I was mentioning before, that we're going to loop around to just reality test that I know we finished town meeting, but we may hear something in April or through and feedback we get from the community that says maybe we need to go back and see if the recommendations we're making are really valid, just to test them out. And you can see here, obviously, there's a lot of territory for the committee to cover, but I think everybody is committed and fully engaged to try to make that happen. So that's kind of where we are. It is a huge undertaking, as I think somebody else said. It has been, the people on the subcommittees have been putting hours and hours in on the subcommittees, in addition to the committee meetings twice a month, and the homework, because before every meeting, we give people homework that they're supposed to do to prepare for the meeting, so people don't get there, hearing something for the first time. And we're trying to manage the meetings really tightly so we stay on topic, on time, and come out with a result. And if we have outstanding items that we need to come back to, that we're tracking them so that we don't lose them in all of what we're trying to accomplish. So that is it. And as I said, I'm the chair, Jess is the vice chair, and I think we have a really good committee, but this is an awesome task.
All right, any questions from the board? Nick?
I have one question. Betsy, would you want us to give you more time? Like, would you, and that's a loaded question I'm asking, right? But like now or before, we get further along in the process, would you say, you know what, if we had 3 more months, now that we really know what we're into, I mean, we can do that, right? Like, there's nothing saying we
Yeah.
can't. So I'm just curious from your perspective now.
My perspective now is no, don't give us more time. I mean, I think that, it's a huge project, but, and I may regret saying that, and I may come back to you later and say, I want you to reconsider. But I think having aggressive deadlines is really healthy. We need to do it by a certain time. And I think a number of us feel like if you let it drag out, you're going to lose momentum. You're going to lose committee members. And, there's so much getting up to speed involved in all of this that I'd like, the tighter we can make it, I think the higher likelihood we will have of actually accomplishing it and coming out with some meaningful recommendations.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear you say that. I agree with the notion of aggressive deadlines. I just want to make sure that now that now that we all know what we've gotten ourselves into, if we had to make a small adjustment, because it took us a few months to get ourselves
Yeah.
squared away, if we wanted to add that to the
Yeah.
timetable. But
I think the most challenging section that we're going to go through is coming up over the next 2 or 3 different categories.
yeah,
The next 2 are probably going to be the most challenging, so, stay tuned. You might want to ask me that question in February.
Quick comment.
Jim?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Betsy, this far supersedes my expectations of where this was going. This is already off to a running start. David, thank you for your patience with this, because when she's not with you, she's with the committee. So, but, and under your leadership, and Jessica, it's just, you've done phenomenal, and we're just in the beginning. So thank you for taking on this task. It's a huge burden, a very important burden, and thank you, because what you're doing today is going to potentially shape this town for tomorrow and the future. Thank you.
Joe?
Thank you. This has been going on a real long time, and it's finally starting to make some progress, which I think is great. I've been here 12 years, and I've been watching different organizations try to get it together, and this is the most intense thing I've heard so far on this project. So give yourself a pat on the back. It's really, really starting to come along. It's been a long time coming. I think it's going to benefit the whole town. So thank you.
Thank you. Just a comment. I'm sitting here, but I represent 9 people who are putting in their time. So, I appreciate it, but when you see any of those 9 people, please say the same to them.
Sarah?
Thank you, and thanks again, Betsy. I echo everybody else's statements. I would just say, you might already be planning on this, but as you're presenting the warrant article to town meeting, it might also be good to have maybe a shortened version of that slide deck, just to give them an idea of what you guys have been doing, so
Yeah.
that they can wrap their brain around it. And
So the plan is to do a town meeting update. Hopefully, I get to do that before asking for money.
that's what I'm saying, yeah, you should.
Tonight, it would have been easier if I'd done that and then asked for money, I think, but, yeah. So I'll talk to somebody I know who has some influence over the order of things, John, about that.
Perfect, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy, for the update and all the hard work that you and your team is doing. Much appreciated, very exciting, and look forward to what we find out in the future.
Okay, great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'm done.
Thank you. And we're not sick of you yet. Moving on, number 6, we have an approval, general license temporary.
Just sent him
Richard?
Hello.
Richard, if you could introduce yourself and let us know.
Yes, Richard Frascati with Roadshow Concepts. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Representing Roadshow Concepts, we're looking to apply for a secondhand dealer's license in Burlington, Massachusetts.
What type of license, I'm sorry?
Oh, this is-
Secondhand dealer's license for precious metals.
It was online.
Okay,
It's the junk dealer secondhand.
okay.
Oh, all right.
Can you tell us just a little bit about the business, what you
Yeah.
guys do and what goes on?
Sure. So we are a national company. We travel the country. We purchase precious metals such as gold and silver, as well as antiques. We are accredited by the Better Business Bureau, so we follow all the state and local guidelines from each town that we enter. We apply for our licenses as we enter each town or attempt to enter each town. We market to the local community for them to come in and bring their items for us to purchase off of them. We purchase items by check. We don't use cash in any form, and we follow all federal anti-money laundering policies.
All right, I'll open up to the board. Anyone have any questions?
I do.
Jim?
It's on our agenda is temporary.
It's only for the 4
For
days.
3 days? Richard, could you explain what the 3-day event is going to be?
So we're hosting out of a hotel, out of a Hampton Inn. So we don't have a quote unquote brick and mortar in the Burlington, Massachusetts. So the permit is just for the 4 days for us to operate.
Okay.
You would like me to pass that?
yeah.
Yeah, could you?
So essentially what the group is trying to do, they go from community to community, or they host these events where folks can come in and exchange or sell their gold, silver, precious metals, and that requires in Burlington a secondhand dealer's license. And so they will only be permitted to do that during the 4 days listed and before the board here.
Mr. Chairman, just to follow up.
Sure.
What threw me off initially was when you said Class 2, because I was thinking Class 2 vehicle license.
I was like, no one said class two.
I think he did.
Oh, I was like, no, not a class two. We're not doing that, because that's vehicle.
All right, no, that explains it.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, real quick.
Joe?
Thank you. What about signage? Are you going to do anything for signage outside, or is that something else we have to approve or not approve? Are you going to have banners outside, or just these flyers that are going to go around town? How does that side of it work?
Signs are us.
They're not allowed, that's what I'm trying to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. So, you didn't have any other plans, did you, for signage, just the flyers?
Just the flyers for our advertisement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, quick follow-up after seeing this. It says it's a 5-day event, but there's only 4 days in the,
Today is the fifth day. We told them they could not run the business.
okay, that explains it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Nick?
Sorry, I'm just looking this over. So, Richard, you're gonna be a ballroom?
Yes, and within it's the Hampton Inn.
We don't have a Hampton Inn. Yeah. We don't have a Hampton.
I think it's Hilton Garden.
Yeah, Hilton Garden.
Yeah,
Fine.
it's not Hampton.
Quick question, so with all the cash and gold that's going to be there, do you have security, or do you have a police officer, or, I mean, there's a lot down there in case something was to happen. I'm just asking questions,
I'm sorry.
I don't know how this really works, I don't think this has come in front of us before.
Yeah, and
So,
short notice.
I just don't know, I mean, you're going to have a lot of gold and a lot of cash on hand, it says you pay cash to these people, so I'm assuming you're going to have some in your hand there. What about some type of security? Do you have police, or do you have your own private security?
So we do not have private security or police. We also do not pay in cash. We only pay by check. We also don't keep once the merchandise is, we secure it. Obviously, we follow the guidelines of the town. Each town is different for holding periods, but we will then secure it and take it off-prem to a secure location. So we don't keep it on site.
Okay, thank you.
What are the hours that it's going to be? Oh,
We advertise. Sorry. We advertise from 9 to 5 as our business hours.
this week.
Generally, yes.
Today's the 15th. We'll start
Yeah, so
tomorrow.
starting tomorrow.
So you already booked the Hampton Inn or whatever it's called. That's already booked in for you, right?
Yes, that is correct. I believe we were a little late on it was our fault for applying. And here we are for the approval. We wanted to have it start today, but we were advised that we could not, so we did not purchase any items today.
Okay, great.
Conducted no business.
Beautiful. All right.
Any other questions?
Just one quick follow-up. Richard, if you ever plan on doing this again, you have to give us a little more notice with this.
Absolutely.
No, I was going to say the same thing. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the same thing, that we definitely need more notice than this. I really don't see a problem with the very first one. We're going to try it for 4 days now instead of the 5, I guess it is. So I'd like to be a little bit more informed next time ahead of it, so we can look at it a little bit better. I don't know if anything, but
Yeah, it's kind of tough to, I mean, normally we'd say, let's take a look at it, but since you're starting tomorrow and it's 4 days, we're kind of in a tough spot here, so we are trying to be accommodating, we're also just trying to make sure we're doing the right thing here.
so if nobody else has anything to say, I'll make a motion to approve this temporary license December 16th and 19th.
I'll second it.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
And the chair is an aye, so that's 4-1. You're all set.
Okay. Good luck, and I hope that next time you do this, you come in a little bit earlier for us. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item, approving annual licenses, alcohol, and bunch of lists, big, long list here.
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So each year, we have to do, in December, we have to do the annual renewal of all the licenses. In your packet was a long list, many, many pages of licenses. It's been done multiple ways in the past, where sometimes you just go by the type of license and approve, and that's usually if you have questions on some of the other ones. Sometimes we've done it where if there have been no questions, they've approved them all as presented, so it would be at the will of the board. If anybody has any questions on specific licenses or any of the lists or anything like that, we can hold that category or do them all at once.
Jim?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No questions. We do this every year. I think we should approve them all, as we always do. My only request or thought, I don't know if it can be done, Lynn, is any new licensees be a different color, font, or something like that, just so we can pick out the new ones that would, because we do this every year. It's,
Yeah, sorry, excuse me. I was going to say actually the same thing as Jim, and also if any were not renewed or dropped off.
So I can tell you that any new has come before you. We don't consider them renewing at this point. We're putting them through as a renewal, but anyone from November 1st to December 31st, we don't make them pay another fee. We kind of consider it their 2026. So you have seen them. We only have 2 that have not renewed. So they will be visited on January 1st, and they will be considered a new license and come back to you on January 12th if they so choose.
Have they been notified?
They have been notified 52 times.
Okay.
By phone calls, by emails, by any letters, yes. And they've been in communication with us, and no intentions of closing.
So just to add, at the list you have in front of you are only renewals, so you've seen them all either at renewal time last year or during this year. If they're new licenses this year, they would have done their initial license and then be up for renewal right now.
okay. Can I follow up, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
with Lynn? So Lynn, they've been notified 52 times, and they say they're not going to close.
Correct. They've started the process. They haven't gotten us all the proper information, so we cannot put them through, and they have been warned that their license expires.
I would assume it's public information for us to know who they are.
Sure.
Who are they?
Subway on Cambridge Street, and one of the sushi, I don't remember the exact name, it's the food court at the Burlington Mall.
All right, thank you, that's all.
So, we've been in contact with our legal department on how to proceed forward, and the police department.
So to be clear, those are not on this.
Correct.
Okay.
With that, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve all the licenses that have been presented to us via email.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Chair is also an aye. That's 4-0. Moving on to subcommittee reports. Who wants to go first?
I'll take a stab. It's not
Mr. Tigas.
really a subcommittee report, but the December 25, January 2026 Boston Magazine has an article titled, "So You Want to Live in Burlington?" It talks about the proximity to Boston, that Burlington is a major hub for tech, pharma, and banking industries. It's a shopper's dream with regards to retail. This ain't about the barbers, Joe. And it talks about some of our restaurants, and it applauds our green space to include Mary Cummings Park, the landlocked forest, and the impressive town center, including the sculpture park, which they refer to as a whimsical outing and the quality of the schools.
Yeah, it was a nice little highlight of Burlington. And a picture of the cherries.
Yes.
Nick?
Yeah, I don't have anything new to report. I just want to take a moment to, you're going to miss me. To just go ahead and wish everybody a wonderful holiday season. Everyone can say it, and, you know, on behalf of me, on behalf of the board, on behalf of my family. Like, I just hope everyone takes this time to, you know, spend it with family and friends and, you know, rest and you know, recharge where you can, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or you celebrate, you know, Ramadan. I mean, you know, we had an email come through, someone was looking for recognition of Ramadan, and, you know, I think that every, you know, moment deserves to be stopped and celebrated, you know, and I hope that everyone can enter into 2026, 2026 with, you know, all the positivity and grace that, you know, we try and afford each other, you know, never forget to be human beings. So, look forward to seeing everybody in the new year.
Be human, love Nick. Sarah?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one thing, since we're coming up to the end of the year, I wanted to highlight from our Council on Aging that they'll be accepting applications in the month of January for the Elderly and Disabled Fund, which is a tax relief program that we provide to seniors who qualify. There are some income eligibility requirements. So that's January 1st to January 31st, 2026. They're accepting applications. If you want more information on that, please reach out to our Council on Aging. And then there's also the Senior Property Tax Work-Off Program that is starting January 5th, I believe. So just reach out to our Council on Aging. These are both two tax relief options for our seniors. You know, there's been a lot of talk about taxes and increases over these last several months. So just want to make sure that we highlight two of those programs that we do provide for our seniors in town. That's all. Thank you.
Joe?
Just wanted to say I wish everyone happy holidays because, you know, it's just that time of year. And I hope everyone has a great, healthy one and look forward to what the future brings everybody.
I wanted to give a shout out to the DPW. Like, I think the Common looks awesome with the lights, and I love driving by it every night and seeing it. They did a great job, so wanted to publicly give you some kudos on that. And it's cold out there, so don't forget to check on your neighbors and elders in town. It seems like it's colder every winter as I get older. And also just echo the sentiment to wish everyone a happy holiday season, happy, healthy, safe holiday season. And we will see you in 26. Town Administrator report.
Thank you. Just a couple things to add to that. Just a quick update on the police station. You all know, but for those watching, anybody that's driven by there will see that the fence is up and there's activity going on over there. As reported at our last meeting, they've already moved into their new building, but now we'll actually see work taking shape over there, so that's an exciting milestone for us. What else? I just wanted to echo happy holidays and also comment about the Common. I've been working here this is my 8th Christmas here, or 8th holiday season here, and the last 2 years the Common has looked outstanding. So kudos to Brendan Egan and the rec maintenance folks for doing that, and we'll see you all in 2026, and the chair and I will both be a year older then, so.
Great, thanks for the reminder. That'll take a motion.
Motion to, okay,
Motion to adjourn.
second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor?
Bye.
Opposed, abstained? 5-0, we are adjourned.